Welcome to the Cyber Business Podcast, where we feature top founders and entrepreneurs and share their inspiring stories. Now, let's get started with the show.
Matthew Connor here, host of the Cyber Business Podcast. Today, we're rejoined by Sergio Sanchez, CIO and CSO at Coleman Health Services. Sergio, welcome back to the show, buddy.
Hello, Matt. How are you? Thank you for having me back. I am enjoying this too much.
It's so great to have you back. I cannot wait to dive in and continue our conversation from the last episode. Before we get into that, a quick word once again from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by cyberlinks.com. That's cyber, Lynx.com. Do you know if a hacker's in your system? Most people and most companies don't until it's too late and the hacker's already done damage. A hacker's job is to bypass your security, so companies need a way of knowing when someone's gotten past theirs. That's where Cyberlinks comes in. We've partnered with the best cybersecurity companies in the world to be able to provide our clients with the best solutions at the best prices. So whether it's managed SIM, SOC, EDR, MDR, XDR, you name it, we'll help you find the best solution at the best price. And now back to our show. All right, Sergio, we had such a good time talking last time, and I'd love to keep, kind of pick it back up and continue. Let's talk AI and cybersecurity and the future here, because I think we are now living in the future. AI is so prevalent and such a ubiquitous tool, and both for the good guys and the bad guys. And so kind of curious, kind of where you see this going. Is this kind of, the beginning of the end, the end of days where we create, I think before we started talking here, you were referring to Skynet, which I love, a nice Terminator reference. Are we creating Skynet? Is that happening? What are your thoughts?
Well, I will tell you, and I will start with this. I love comics. My favorite, of course, I'm a nerd. My favorite superhero always was Superman. And I am going to compare Superman with AI. When this little baby arrived to planet Earth, everything has a point of a starting point. If he was, adopted by evil people, not by Martha and Jonathan Kent, but by, the parents of Putin,
right?
You will not have the superhero with superpowers helping humanity. Thanks God, he got in the hands of good people, which teach him morality and education in the ethical way of life to helping people. We have the same idea with AI. We are exactly at the birth moment of AI. Even that is moving pretty fast and is growing as fast as my puppy at home. I have to tell you that all depends on how we teach it. And we have to imprint that of ethical, morals. We have to do it together with the law. But the scary part here is governments are getting slow about it. Big problem there is how fast it's moving, how fast it's developing, but also is the people in charge to do all these calls, all these changes in the law. Sometimes they are not technical people and they don't understand very well how it works. And sometimes, or they close completely the things, or they are completely, opening to something that can be deteriorating later on. With that in mind, AI today is, it's everywhere. It's the hype. And every day, I don't know how many emails I get from vendors that they have a new AI, or all vendors that now have included in the old products AI. So it's here already.
Yeah.
And I was telling you before, now with AI is level completely the playing for everybody. Everybody can be a musician. Everybody can be a painter. Everybody can be, a sculptor. You can put a picture that is converted to 3D and then send it to a 3D printer, and there, voila, you now are a Michelangelo. Or you can just tell, Mid-Journey, by example, or Dali to create a master painting, and boom, you will have it there.
Yep.
But the same thing, with bad actors, threat actors. I wonder if you can just tell ChatGPT or Gemini or anything of those. Can you create an email with all this information, make it look and feel that I am very good friend of this person, and try to see if you can get in contact and what information can give you. How many of us go to our high school reunion and you don't remember who the heck is that guy? And it's like, oh my God, who is that? And that person later on, like, hey, I remembered you from high school and blah, blah, blah. Can I have your phone number? Okay, and you want to be nice. So you say, okay, here. And he's not. He's a Russian guy called Sasha in St. Petersburg. So things like that is what we need to be careful. And I just hope that this don't become Skynet.
Well, did you hear about there was a bad actor who just the other day he is ransoming 17 companies that he'd done the entire thing. Not a developer, did not rent this from the dark web. He did it all through Claude. So he was able to trick Claude into doing all of it, wrote everything, the emails, picked the companies, who they would be. One was a defense contractor,
Wow.
and he was able to successfully they haven't caught him yet, but I'm sure it's only a matter of time. I mean, if this person was using Claude to do all the stuff, they certainly aren't the most sophisticated, hacker out there. So not very likely that that they're going to be, good at covering their tracks or being, eluding, capture. But interestingly, 17 companies. And they did it very quickly. It was, all within like the course of a day or something like that. It was very fast how they were able to get in, get it done. Pretty impressive. But yeah, was able to trick Claude into doing it. And of course, their response was, we take this very seriously. We're not, that we've got guardrails in place. But that's the problem, right? I mean, just like you said with Superman, we now have Superman powers in the hands of the bad guys. Even though we try to put guardrails on there and keep it from it, I think that the problem is that this AI is not the AI that people think of, where it's thinking and it understands, and it's not like you're dealing with our actual general artificial intelligence. You're dealing with a super advanced autocomplete. So telling this autocomplete, hey, you don't want to be involved in any scams. You want to use your powers for good. What's that mean to autocomplete?
Absolutely nothing. It's no, at this moment, we have not get yet to what is called the singularity.
Yes.
So this is a device. I don't know if I can call it a machine anymore, but it's a device that whatever you put in is whatever is going to give you out. We are still at that moment. It's calculated by the year 2030. We will be close to sentient devices, which mean that they will be able to recognize themselves. The big question here is, because everything that they learn through us, are they going to be biased? Are they going to, I don't know if I can say, are they going to be having feelings? Are they will be envious of us? Are they will be, greedy? And I don't know, envious like why you are walking and I can't, or the another one, why you are consuming more power than I am consuming. No. I'm going to reroute the electric system and now have it in my way. And also think about this, how we talk with it. you can send something like ChatGPT, just for example. Tell me how I can stop global warming. And maybe it will be like, well, you need to stop, CO to go to the atmosphere, or can says, well, let's eliminate humans because you are the main production of CO2 right
Yep.
now. So that is something that is going to be scary. How we will be used it? Something that always AI will depend on us, or will be a moment that we will depend on that. It talks about something called artificial super intelligence, ASI, which suppose will be the moment that it will be sentient. And, it's incredible, but the development of this used to be linear, now is logarithmical.
Yep.
And now it's almost vertical.
Yeah.
So that is the scary part. Can we control? This is, Mary Shelley book, Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Are we creating a monster that later on we cannot control? How are doing this? And because it's a hype and everybody is kind of like in an arm race now. Not only companies against each other, but now also countries. So it's interesting. I hope we use it better like a tool than a weapon. You just give me an idea. What happened if you pin against each other several AIs?
Yeah.
What about if you put ChatGPT against Claude and Claude against Gemini and say, hey, make this ChatGPT behave badly?
Yep.
Yesterday I saw a new AI. I don't know if maybe you need to edit this after I tell you
Go
the
ahead.
name. It's called Venice,
Okay.
like the city in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't, I saw it in Facebook, that suppose doesn't have guardrails. That is an AI without guardrails. And I downloaded, and let me tell you the funny part why. I am in a fantasy football with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, well, what about if I ask ChatGPT by historical reference and percentage and probability, who will be the winning team yesterday, Cowboys versus Philadelphia Eagles? And ChatGPT out of the business, I'm so sorry, I cannot provide you with this information because it's against, my regulations, blah, blah, blah. Venice. Who will be with blah, 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 the same prompt? Philadelphia Eagles. Immediately like that. And I didn't want to go farther away with that, but, if at this moment, at least, this didn't have any guardrail. Will be a moment in time that says, what is the probability of the 5 numbers for the lottery? Now that is right now here in Ohio is $1.7 billion.
Yeah.
So what will happen?
Interestingly, I love your analogy of Superman because I think it's so applicable. But I think the challenging thing with AI is when you think about it right now, part of the problems we have with controlling cyber criminals is the who has jurisdiction over these people as they go throughout the world.
Exactly.
So then let's say that you do get this super intelligence, we achieve this singularity. Okay, if it's sentient and now should be governed by laws like everybody else. Now, whose laws, right? So this is interesting because on the internet, is it with the server that it's on those laws? I know now if it's on servers throughout the world, is it multiple law? Is it every jurisdiction? And then how do they control that, right? And so how do you even control something that can be in every country all at the same time?
Well, it's exactly you was saying a moment ago that last week was this guy attacking 17 different companies. And I was thinking, well, what about if the guy lives in North Korea?
Exactly.
or in the
It's
middle of
sanctioned.
nowhere, Pakistan or India,
Yep.
and he's giving, supported by the state.
Yep.
So that is the problem. Are we able to do something like a Interpol
Yeah.
that has jurisdiction, like you says, everywhere? And you can just say, hey, I try, these hackers are here, blah, 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 and they go and arrest the person. So I see that the only solution, but if we see this in real life,
Yeah.
and today, Interpol, and I hope nobody from Interpol is hearing, but they are just doing movies,
Yeah. No,
basically.
they're a lot cooler on movies than they are in real life. Yeah.
Yeah, they are just like I says in Mexico, the traffic lights is just
Yeah. Yep. No, it's more of a guideline than a rule, than a
exactly.
law. Yeah, no, it becomes a real challenge, and I don't think that we get along as human beings globally enough to, to have that day. I mean, we need to advance, socially to the point where we all get along and we all have laws and we all agree. But I don't see that day. I mean, I don't see that day in our future. I mean, we have so many problems. You look at the Middle East and there's these problems have been going on for centuries. We're not
Absolutely.
solving that.
Uh,
We're not.
this is historical. This is more than anything due to I wanted this piece of desert, which has nothing but God or somebody else told me that is mine. Oh, guess what? He told me the same. It's mine too,
Yep.
and they're fighting for that. My question here is also AI be able to create a new society from the point of view of education, which is what we need the most. Uh, New generation of kids will see AI like everyday interaction,
Yeah.
just like we grow up with TV. My grandparents like no, TV is evil. I prefer sit down in front of the radio.
Yep.
And just generation through the generation. Today, you ask a kid, "Hey, what is your favorite TV show?" What are you talking about? I
Yeah.
can tell you who is my favorite influencer,
Yep.
but I don't know, TV shows.
Yep.
So the same thing with AI. How much our brain or how much their brain will be changed and their minds and their civilization in general. Uh, you know, uh, it's a very old movie, a sequence of the Planet of the Apes,
Hmm.
where I think is welcome or come back to the Planet of the Apes. And I'm talking about the old
The old,
Charlton
old.
Heston one, not the
Charles.
new ones,
Yeah.
where is a group of people, that is a religion where the God is an atomic bomb and the church is a silo, it's a nuclear silo. How that will happen with AI? Are we going to, uh, you remember Cray, one of the first supercomputers,
Yep.
the
The
Cray?
crazy supercomputer. Yeah.
I think now will be like in some, some Pedro's basilica, like
Yeah.
is going now the new people believing at, is the godfather of AI.
Yep.
So it is a very interesting time that we are living.
Yeah.
It's a crucial time, and I hope this is equal, to the 1800s when the Industrial Revolution happened. That yes, a lot of the farmers decide to become workers in factories, and was a completely change of life and civilization itself. Something like that is probably what is happening. Is going to happen.
Yeah. No, totally agree. I mean, and I think that the thing on everybody's mind is what does that look like, right? As we transition, from those factory workers, from farmers to factory workers back in, the Industrial Revolution days, now in today's AI, age, what does that look like, right? How does that change the landscape for the average person who's worried?
I was reading something yesterday. Goldman Sachs the finance institution in Wall Street, they put a report that says that by the year 2030, 40% of the entry level jobs will disappear. I'm talking about people, capturing data by hand, or people with very easy repetitive tasks that doesn't require a physical, mechanical situation. They will be no needed anymore. So we'll have to learn new skills or update our skills. And I feel bad for people that are today scared about that. This is the old analogy that I do all the time with people that are a little bit scared of technology. I always tell them, okay, think that you are 2 million years ago, one of the first Homo sapiens walking. And then you are walking and you see in a hole in a mountain something that is bright. And you get curious and you go inside and you see all these people sit down around this thing that is bright and is hot. And you ask, hey, what is that? And says, we don't know. We know how to move it from one place to another. We know how to start it, but we don't know what is. But we can see in the darkness. We get warm here. And Charlie yesterday put a piece of meat and tastes better. And I don't have heartburns or stomach pain. Yeah. And this guy says, no, that's evil. That's bad. I touch it and burn me, cause me pain. I'm living. So guess who died first? The guys inside the cave with the fire, or the guy that said, no, that's not for me. I'm walking out.
Yeah.
So the same thing.
No,
piece of technology.
Totally. I think we've got to embrace the change. You've got to embrace technology, because, I mean, you even look even closer, like in the 70s and before. I mean, you had switchboard operators who were actively, there's a lot of people had jobs as switchboard operators, just plugging and unplugging and connecting calls. Mm-hmm. Well, that doesn't happen anymore. Now it's very, very fast. It goes through. That would be crazy to be holding on to that job. Nobody wants that job anymore, right? That's not a job that you would want. The jobs, I think the interesting part is, with technology, every time we've advanced, the jobs have gotten better. Mm-hmm. We generate more, we produce more as a let's just say as an economy. We produce more, and we produce things more easily. So mm-hmm. people aren't, they're no longer having to till the ground by hand and plant we now have, machines to do everything, and life gets easier and better and better. So it's going to continue in that direction. Until ultimately, does it become our a doomsday type event? Yes. Or is it, kind of a paradise where we have the very kind, moral and ethical AI robots that are doing everything for us, and now we get to live in a world where we focus on the arts and crafts and humanities, and we're doing, because I don't think there will be a time where people want to see a robot performing Shakespeare or singing. It's a cool thing. I would watch it once and then be like, yeah, but I'm never going again. Like, I don't care.
It's repetitive. Yes.
Yeah, I don't want to see robot, Tom Cruise hanging from the side of a plane. I don't care. What if the robot fell? Yeah. Right? It's impressive that Tom Cruise did that at 60 years old, hanging from a plane. That's impressive. I can't do that at my, like, no, who can do that, right? So I think we're going to see a boom, as we see more influencers now, kind of, think about it. Influencer, that was a crazy thing 5-10 years ago. You're like, you want to be a YouTube, influencer? That's crazy. But now there are so many, and they make so much money. And the interesting part is, I think we're only going to see more and more of that as time progresses.
Will be different names for different jobs that we didn't have. Go back in time with the Industrial Revolution. Now you have a new position that is engineer.
Yeah,
like a train engineer. Before mm-hmm. trains, you didn't have that. Now you have, in the 1990s. If you ask any kid, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Nobody will say, I want to be an influencer.
Yep.
What the heck is that?
That's
Now
right.
you ask my grandkid, like, what do you want to do when you grow up? Oh, I want to be an influencer playing, Minecraft. Like, what the heck is that?
Yep. Yeah.
So
It's
it's
crazy.
new things coming,
Yep.
but we need to adapt.
Yep.
And that is the worst part. Humans, we don't like change. Yeah.
We tend to be pretty averse to it. But you and I, we're in the industry of we are in that industry of having to adapt and helping others to adapt as well. So let's talk kind of practical, near term, and near future. What do you do? What are some of the things that we can do as businesses, as IT professionals? What are some of the things that people are kind of the one, let's hit some of the basics. Like what should every company be doing, to kind of secure themselves and prepare themselves for, some of the current threats, because there's lots of security tools out there, but the threat landscape is changing every day, with social engineering and AI. So where do you see people, needing to focus now? Where should organizations be looking, to place their money now to secure them and their organizations?
I have to tell you, I will go two different fronts. The technical front will be completely secure the system per se, the network, the hardware, basically everything. And then I will also educate the people. Sadly, threat actors are choosing right now the easy way in. The famous, hacker with a hoodie in the basement typing code is one in a blue moon, because that is more, again, I think for ego, that able to say, hey, I hack Coca-Cola, or I hack, I think I mentioned before, Chrysler,
Yep.
or Ford, or big companies. I did it myself.
Yep.
No, they are not going mostly for that. If you see all these hackers groups around the world, they are going to try to get money. The guy that you was telling me, he was trying to get, or he did 17 companies at the same time.
Yep.
So this is like an expansion of options there. You want to sit down and hack one company and spend 3 weeks figure it out, or you want to have 17 companies and do it in 1 week.
Yep. Exactly.
So they are going to go again for the easy path, which is the human path, the social engineering, teaching the people what not to click or what they can expect is what we need.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, one of the scariest part here, and I think it's in the mind of every CISO and every MSSP, is when you get a company breach and the bad actors, the threat actors, get in, they grab the contact list and they start emailing people under the real email address of those people who were breached. That is the problem.
Yeah.
So I think we need to figure it out, maybe with AI or the help of brilliant people like you,
Yep.
to figure it out if it's possible to determine if even that is coming from a real email address, from a real people that maybe I know physically, if whatever is sending is bad.
Yeah.
And happen, but happen sometimes late.
Yep. There is a really cool company, Dark Trace. I don't know if have you heard about these guys?
I hear yes.
Very cool. So they're using AI, well, LLM, to for email security, and they've been around for about 10 years, but I think the timing now is right for them. I think, one, the technology has advanced to the point, and I think people are ready now for AI assistance when it comes to email security. And I think LLM is the way to go, because the really cool part about it is they're not just doing email, but they basically build a model of each user as they see all their email that they've sent through. They're like, oh, you know what? Um, Sergio writes email like this, and he often sends emails to these people. He often receives emails from these people. Cool, cool, cool. But the funny part is, like you and I very quickly can catch a fictitious or a bad email. Like we're good at it. We no problem. But like our parents, not so much, right? For them, it's like, well, I thought it was Microsoft. I thought it was, oh, come on, right? And you're like, ah, and same for, users who their job is not tech. They're not, their job is doing whatever their job is. And this stuff, to have to be an expert in tech is really challenging for them. So it's really cool that now using LLM, you can immediately, that can be spotted and be like, hey, look, there's three S's in this domain name where there's only two. Well, we might look past that. Like, let's say it's like stonesecurity.com, but between stones and security, they put in another S. You and I might, like look right past that. But it is normally Jane at stonesecurity.com. And so you email back and forth. So that business email compromise becomes really easy, when it's stuff like that. But an LLM can catch that really fast. Be like, nope, this one, we're not even letting you see that because this is definitely a bad thing, and we're gonna keep that over here. And they do the same for the outbound as well, which is really cool. Be like, Sergio doesn't usually send email at 2 o'clock in the morning to 1,500 people in his contact list, so we're just gonna stop that from going out the inbox right now. So there's some really promising stuff in things like Darktrace where they're using that kind of modern technology to do stuff. So I'm very excited to see how that plays out, because that's some really exciting stuff that isn't like break the bank expensive either, which I think is really cool because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how cool something is. Like not everybody can afford, the Ferrari solution. Be like,
Yes.
I really needed a Toyota Corolla. That Ferrari's super cool, but I need a four-door sedan that is affordable and reliable and is going to last 10 years. That Ferrari, super cool, but maybe not the best, for us.
Well, thinking about that, think about the business idea there. How many Corollas they can sell and how many Ferraris they can sell.
Yeah.
And yes, of course, you see somebody in a Ferrari. Now it's like, oh my God, he must be rich. He must be wonderful. He was a powerful guy. He is a successful guy, blah, blah, blah.
And now you're
But
making me want to go buy a Ferrari. No,
exactly.
just kidding.
But the funny part here is more people in the world that need a Corolla and can afford a Corolla
Yep.
that people that afford a Ferrari. So
The money's in the Corollas. You pop out,
exactly.
10 million Corollas a year versus, 1,000 Ferraris. And I like that that's kind of how they're pricing stuff too, to where it's that Corolla pricing, but super cool. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But I think that's one example of how we're gonna. I think the future that gives us a glimpse into the future. I think on the security side, because I like to think that we're gonna get to the point where, on your cell phone, you're going to have Siri listening to your phone call. I know we have real problems with privacy, and that needs to be addressed, and that that's data needs to be kind of localized, and we don't currently have the technology to have all that necessarily localized there on your phone. But let's say that day does come. Imagine that elder fraud, where they're going after poor grandma and grandpa, and Siri's like, hey, grandma, this is definitely not Microsoft support that you've called.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go ahead and hang up now because that they're fraudsters. Oh, awesome. Thank you. Right. And I think that's where I think technology in security gets really exciting to think of things like that. And of course, it's going to be the big guys like Apple and Google who are going to be able to implement those things. But I see stuff like that being really exciting in the future.
Well, with that in mind, I have to tell you, yesterday I saw an advertising for a program. I don't want to. I don't know if. Well, you will be able to edit this.
I don't mind. Go for it.
The name of the program is called Cluely, Cluely.
Okay,
Cluely.
Cluely. All right.
That you open when you are in a meeting. I promise I don't have it open. Or a job interview.
Mhm.
and will be in front of you, kind of like what is the thing when you have in front of you
teleprompter.
A teleprompter. Will hear the questions of the interviewer and will post it in front of you.
Yep.
And only that is going to tell this person work here, blah, blah, blah. Basically, the linking information, your website information, your Facebook information. So now I don't have any idea about who is Matthew, but with this program, at the same time that I'm talking with Matt, I can see everything that he does.
Yeah.
So that is scary, because how many people, oh, you're a surgeon, yes, and can you operate in the amygdala? Yes. Yes. So the same thing for
this actually brings up a really good point, because I think as we get those tools, right, I don't know that it's necessarily, and this goes back to that question about, let's think about the calculator, right? Back when we were in school, the teachers were like, you're going to need to know this because you're not going to have a calculator with you everywhere you go. Okay, now we definitely have a calculator everywhere. And we've got Google, we've got all the world's information everywhere we go.
Yeah.
So now when kids are going through college, and the whole point is to prepare them for the future, and the future is how quickly can you find the information and implement the solution.
Yes.
We're using AI. So I think the challenge is we need to be doing that in college as well, telling kids, look, I need you to be implementing AI. I want you to be thinking and understanding the things, but your results need to be supercharged with AI, right? And I think that's challenging, because our goal has always been, how do I test you to know if you know the information, you've got this.
Even
Okay,
you use.
Got it. But now think about that job interview. Now that everybody is a college student, kind of with supercharged AI, I think for a lot of jobs, it's not a matter of, let's take tech, for instance. If you're hiring somebody for your help desk, how much do you care, how technically savvy they are? At some point you do, but the bigger thing is, are they a good cultural fit? Are they a good person? Do we like them? Are they personable? So the people skills, I think, are going to become, so important. So if they spent time in the industry, I think it really having that resume where you've got experience in the industry, people it seem to like you, you've got good references, and then you're applying for this. Great. It's that fresh off the boat. I mean, first of all, let me, what, I'm not going off on a crazy tangent, but look, we're so silly that we're hiring North Koreans, for US jobs because, oh, they passed the interview. Are you kidding me? Like, seriously, you're telling me that you sat down with that person, they were so personable and so good, and they seemed like such a great candidate for your government contracting job, that you hired them and they were North Korean? Come on, right? You went and we were like, oh, look, can you code this? And you're like, I don't care that he's weird and he's got a really thick accent. He was able to give the answer. Who cares? I can look up the answer. Anybody can look up the answer now. It needs to be more people focused, because I think that's the future. I think, it's about the people. The technology helps them with the knowledge.
I'm going to tell you something even farther away in my career. So between high school, medical school, I took part of my time. I went to do scuba lessons. I was certified scuba instructor, PADI,
Cool.
and I decided to go and get a job in Cloud Med, again, 1980s.
Nice.
And I bring all the papers, all the, my logs of how many times I have diving, how many people I certify, blah, 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 to the director of the resort. He looked at that and he just threw it behind, like, look, you are going to be living in this hotel, in this resort for 3 months. Everybody that I bring already, I know that is a scuba diver. I know that you can teach. I know that. The important part is how your team will accept you, because you are going to spend Christmas time, New Year's time, all the parties here in the hotel from this period of time. So if they like you, you stay. If they don't like you, You can be the best of the best, but you are going out.
That's right.
And the same way, just exactly what you said. Everybody now has leveled the plane, and everybody can be the best of the best because they go to the AI and ask. The point here is, how do you interact with people? You can be the Nobel Prize of computers, just to give you an example. But if you are not approachable, nobody want to go and talk to you. So it doesn't matter. You are the best of the best in whatever, field you are. But if you are not approachable, if you are not people, if you don't know how to interact with people, then hey, you need to talk to Bob about the network. Bob,
He's the worst.
Yeah, can we ask ChatGPT?
Yeah, can't we just we'll just Google it, ask ChatGPT.
Yes, Google
we don't
it.
need Bob. It's fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's exactly what you says.
Couldn't agree more. And I think that's the lesson. And I think that there were so many kids, in the millennials and the Gen Zers. I think is really interesting because the millennials in particular, so many of them grew up and they were kind of avoided eye contact. They were the first generation to really get to be, iPhone or iPad kids from the time they were born. They were on an iPad and the thing, and it became very comfortable for them. And then they get out into the real world and they're having to learn these people skills. I think what's really interesting, we're seeing a shift in that in the Gen Z. They're shifting away from being iPad kids, and they're like, can't you put down your device for 5 seconds and actually talk to it? So I think we're seeing this shift back, which I think is really great. So that gives me real hope that I think the younger generations, they're doing a lot of stuff great. Like, they're and a lot of people kind of dump on the young kids, right? And historically, that's what we do. We trash the younger generation. But interestingly, they're drinking less than any other group. Wow, they're doing less drugs, right? They're smoking, like they're getting into health and everything. Like they're doing a lot of things right. So it's funny because the younger ones, they're getting access to all this information, and they're like, oh, and they're not kind of stuck in this world of being iPad kids, and they're like, oh, this iPad addiction is bad. We don't want to be addicted to screens, and they're fixing that. So I think we're seeing real great growth and movement in the younger generations. And so that to me, that's really promising for where that goes, because I think we're in agreement that it's about those people skills, and the younger kids are coming up and they're really focusing on that, and they're becoming healthier, better people. So I'm kind of excited to see where the younger generation goes. For the millennials, meh. No, I'm just kidding.
No. Let me tell you, I live at home. I have a 30 years old daughter, and then I have the latest one, 18 years old, and the 30 years old, everywhere is a phone or an iPad, just like you says. My 18 years old, she was asking me for pencils because she want to draw. Like, why you want to draw things when you can ask, Mid-Journey to do it?
Yep, exactly.
What?
100%. Nope, the kids are onto something. That's fantastic. Sergio, I know we're running out of time, and this has been so much fun again. I think you're just going to be a repeat. You're going to be the first one in the 5 timers club, right? To take from Saturday Night Live. We're going to get you the coat, right? Get you the 5 timers jacket. That's it. When you come on 5 times, we're going to get you that 5 timers jacket, just like Saturday Night Live.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to that. That'll be great. Well, you know what? I'd ask you to tell people where they can find out more about you. But you know what? You did in the last time. But go ahead. Let's tell them where they can find out more about you. And
basically, they can find me, in LinkedIn. I am Dr. Sergio E. Sanchez, and or my podcast, which is available everywhere, which is Behind the Digital Curtain, and all the instructions are there. You can find me everywhere.
Fantastic, Sergio. Thanks again for coming on, and until next time.
See you, Matt.
Thanks for listening to the Cyber Business Podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.